Hello, great evening to you. Warm welcome to Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo Baka. To one of our headline stories we are following up for you, the Bank of Ghana has fined and suspended the forex license of financial technology firm ZP. A statement from the Bank of Ghana issued this afternoon states that the action was influenced by ZP Ghana breaching the laws covering inward remittance. The Bank of Ghana also adds that the suspension of the forex license will run from 27th of November 2023 to 8th December 2023 for violation of sections of the Foreign Exchange Act 2006. And there you go with the statement on your screens there. It reads, the Bank of Ghana has fined ZP Ghana Limited for breaching Clause 7.3a of the inward remittance. Clause 7.3a states as follows that the settlement bank shall, quote, use the average interbank exchange rate published by the Ghana Association of Banks on the day the transfer is received or as prescribed by the Bank of Ghana for the conversion of settlement funds into local currency, end of quote. Further, the bank has suspended the forex license of ZP Ghana Limited from 27th November to 8th December 2023 for violation of Section 3, Clause 1 and 15, Clause 3 of the Foreign Exchange Act 2006, Act 723. It concludes by saying, by this notice, forex market players, including banks, forex bureaus, forex brokers, dedicated electronic money issuers, enhanced payment service providers, and money transfers operators are hereby cautioned to adhere strictly to the applicable forex market regulations and guidelines. And of course, this is signed by the Secretary, Sandra Thompson there. And to some other stories, government says it is taking additional measures to help check borrowings to manage the country's rising debt stock in 2024. These initiatives have been captured in the Debt Sustainability Strategy report for the next 5 years. George Yafe reports.
Government in these new borrowings claims that they are set a new limit for non-concessional borrowings for 2024, which will be pegged at $85 million. This can be classified as borrowings from the commercial market at full interest rates and not from the country's development partners. The Finance Ministry states that this new limit will cover central government borrowings as well as state-owned enterprises and all entities. Government has also announced that it will not initiate new projects and funding from non-concessional sources. This means that all the existing projects and new ones that could be carried out in 2024 may be supported by the country's development partners and concessional means. But at the time that government is yet to reach a deal with the external creditors on restructuring of their debts, it is not clear for now how government is planning to even borrow fresh funds through this non-concessional means next year. According to the 2024 budget, the country's total debt stock in relation to the GDP has reduced from 73.1% as at the end of 2022 to 66.4% ending September this year.
And the IMF board meeting to consider Ghana's first program review and disbursement of second tranche of funds has been moved to November 29 instead of this Wednesday. This is what Joy Business has picked up from persons working on Ghana's IMF program. George Yafe again.
We understand the move by the IMF is more of a precautionary measure rather than due to the fact that Ghana has not met the target under the program for the next tranche of funds to be released to the country. Sources close to the IMF have maintained that this move is to ensure that any delays in reaching a deal with official creditor committee and some of the external creditors doesn't impact on the board meeting. It follows concerns by China that it wants to review the time that has been set as the cut-off date for restructuring Ghana's external debt. The IMF has proposed December 2023 as the date that all the debt that has been contracted by government with its donor partners should be restructured. But China, on the other hand, has argued that if it should go by that date, then some ongoing projects in the country, which loans were contracted over the last 2 years, might be affected. One can talk about the flyover and road works being done around the Palace Mall on the Spintex Road. They are also warning that roadworks around the Teshi area might be affected as well. The Chinese government is therefore proposing March 2020 rather as the catch-off date for restructuring external bilateral debt. Sources close to the Chinese government has maintained that it will not be fair to settle on December 2022 debt as proposed by the IMF. Joy Business understands that the official creditor committee led by China and France are expected in the coming days to release a memorandum of understanding that they agree to restructure Ghana's debt. We understand that what the IMF is looking forward to is a letter from these creditors that they have reached a deal to begin discussions on restructuring of Ghana's debt. This will pave the way for the IMF to approve the next disburse. Another thing that has come up is that these creditors are pushing for some insurance that should the economy grow than what has been estimated, then they should be getting more in terms of what government should be paying to them when it comes to their restructured debt. Fresh numbers from the IMF even shows that Ghana's economy may perform better than earlier estimated. The Eurobond holders are also pushing for a similar insurance deal.
Meanwhile, economist Professor Peter Quartey said the action by the International Monetary Fund is in the right direction. However, stated that we should brace ourselves for another week looking at the current state of negotiations.
From all indication, it looks like the comfort letter has to come. Unfortunately, that has not been ready, and therefore the IMF think it is appropriate to postpone this meeting so they could review and they could get the comfort letter. But I would say, although George spoke about November 29th, I think we can even add a week to this, let's add about a week to this so that we don't, put ourselves put too much pressure on us. After all, government has met all the requirements. There's supposed to be a deficit gap of 0.5% of GDP, which has been met, and we also supposed to have read the budget, that has been done as well. So all that is required is the comfort letter from the creditors, and I believe that discussion has to go on. We cannot be very definite that November 29th would happen, but at least if we add about a week, first week of December, I think it will be more comforting than sticking our neck out and saying November 29th.
Leading job recruiting firm Jobberman Ghana, through its MFIT project, plans to place over 60 young women in tech roles in the country. According to the chief executive of Jobberman Ghana, Hilda Nimoteku, the initiative is geared towards empowering more women to venture into the technological space. She was speaking at a diversity and inclusion roundtable event by Jobberman Ghana.
The Diversity and Inclusion Roundtable event by Jobberman Ghana and GID Ghana forms part of activities under the MFIT project, which aims at equipping women with soft skills to make them employable. In an interview, Chief Executive of Jobberman Ghana, Hilda Nimoteku, said the company plans to place over 60 women in tech roles to bridge the gender gap in the industry.
We realized that there was a gap when it comes to the tech sector, and as an HR and recruitment firm, when we are recruiting for tech roles, we find out that it's 80%, sometimes as high as 80% of the jobs were men who were taking part in the job. So we wanted to create opportunity and bridge the gap where we are able to place, and we realized that it's not that the women are not qualified. Some of them are qualified, but they were just not getting the job. So GID was happy to help us to be able to put this program together. Like I mentioned earlier, we had 1,840 applicants who were part of this project, who applied for this project. Unfortunately, the project funding could only have 100 people in the training, so it was a tough trying to sift through, but we were able to place 100 of them in a soft skill training like you have seen this morning. Talk about their testimony of what they learned from the training. And from now till March 2024, we are engaging employers to accept these women into job. I'm saying that, listen, if we can place the 100, let's do it. I mean, yes, the project is only funding 60, but why not? If we can able to put more than the people that the project is funding into jobs, this is our field. This is what we do. So we are requesting for employers who have jobs in the tech space to bring their jobs so we can place 100 women and more, and at least we have 1,007 more. So if we want to do more training and more placement, we can always fall back to those people.
Guest speaker and chief executive of DevOps Limited, Dr. Mercy Gardner, called on government to put in place policies and incentives that will drive the interest of girls in STEM.
Look at some form of incentive because we need to encourage that. And I don't think we've done enough. We need to encourage, we really need to encourage women, and these are some of the ways. Yes, scholarships, because at times you can find a very bright girl but they just don't have the money to be able to do it. And then the soft skills aspects that we've spoken about.
The Diversity and Inclusion Roundtable event was under the theme Empowering Young Women in Tech for Career Success.
That's all for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojo Baka. Razak Musbao is next with Prime Sports.